Hello, welcome to Talk of Good Games. Just finished West Ham United 3, FCSB 1 at the London Stadium. But the Hammers had to do it the hard way, coming from 1-0 down at half-time. We're here to discuss the highlights. We've got 4 goals and a few individual performances to talk about this evening. Gonzo, up until they scored, so the first half an hour pretty much, what were we thinking?
Bloody awful. I thought it was really bad, actually. I like the intent, I've got to say. I thought Benrahma on the right, Cornet on the left was the right thing to do. You've got Skamaka in the middle. Let's put people on their stronger foot. Let's get early crosses in there. But I felt we lacked intensity, I've got to say. There were 1 or 2 decent performers, but I also thought they were horrendous, some couple of horrendous performers as well. I felt we really struggled to get to grips with what were really bad conditions to play football in, and they just handled it better than us. I guess it's been hammering it down everywhere today, but even just today when I walked out for 10 minutes, came back, it's hard. I mean, it's streaming in your eyes and everything. So it's hard to see to walk down the street, never mind play football in it. So I don't think it's easy to kick the ball around in those conditions. And I thought it was a real quick, early intent from them to try and rattle us, which worked.
Yeah, I didn't think we were that bad. I mean, the live chat at half-time is suggesting what you're suggesting. I thought we were all over them, to be honest with you. I don't think we were great. I don't think we were carving up clear-cut opportunities of that, but I thought we were the one that was on the front foot. We were pushing them back. We were just lacking confidence and creativity, but generally, I thought we were playing all right. But there was defensive. I thought we looked fragile defensively. I will say that. And I was quite impressed by them at their passing and their counter-attacking game, if you like. And we got a warning just before they scored. We did get a warning. They had a free header at the back post by Cordia, who then went on to score at the back post 5 minutes later. But we'll talk us through their goal, Gonzo. What did you make of it?
Well, you're quite right. It was completely predictable because Emerson lost his man for that header. And I actually wrote it down. Emerson, he didn't even seem to know where he'd gone. And then, of course, I think what's happened then is it's given a player thinking, an idea to think, well, actually, I can lose this defender quite easily. So when the goal came, and it was there. To be fair, I didn't think it was a particularly dangerous move. They passed it between the lines. It was just almost incrementally. Each player sort of helped it on a little bit. I don't think we were massively out of position, and the ball got played across. It should have been a situation where everyone's marked, and that's not a problem. But the final guy wasn't marked, and that was Emerson's job. And I thought, oh, come on, mate. You've just been in this position. That should have been the wake-up call. The previous move should have been the wake-up call for Emerson. Actually, it wasn't. He was still sleeping. Actually, it was the wake-up call for the forward. He thought, oh, actually, I can get the better of this guy. And that was going to carry on for a lot of the game. So, completely avoidable goal and very naive, I've got to say.
Yeah, it annoyed me, actually. I found myself really angry with Emerson for that because if that was the first time we'd saw Cordia in a position where Emerson wasn't, it was almost like, whoa, okay, you're going to have to learn quick. We're 1-0 down, but literally 5 minutes, just 5 minutes before that, he had the warning, which is I'm going to get in here, I'm going to come in at the back post, and my teammates are going to try and find me at the back post as well. And when you watch the replay back, the goal more and more, I found myself getting angry because Emerson's just watching it because they just come down our right hand side, their left hand side. They just work it down the line, like you said. It's nothing spectacular. They just work it simply but efficiently down the left-hand side. And Emerson the whole time is just watching the ball. Not once does he glance to see where his man is. And then as soon as the ball's played across the face of the goal, you can see him think, oh, no, he's 4 yards away from me now. And he doesn't even try and get it because he knows he's not. And I was really annoyed because then 5 minutes later, and nothing happened at this, but they played that ball sort of deep into our half, and Areola came out and booted it into stands. But the same guy ran past Emerson. Emerson's just jogging back, watching Areola coming out and think, well, Areola was probably always going to get there. But at least make sure, get back, just in case something happens, the slippery surface, make sure Areola doesn't miskick it. It takes a skid off the surface and awkward. And the guy's then running in on an empty goal or something. I just thought, with Emerson, to summarise his first half, I thought going forward, I think he looked quite tasty. I thought he was linking up quite well with Kone, but defensively, he might as well have just not been there. Far too open. And I think he summarised us, what I would say about the first half. I think we were just lacking a little bit of urgency. And, I often hate when things like this happen because I think, me and Gonzo are going to look like plebs at our preview. Oh, 3-0 West Ham. That maybe we've underestimated them. But the thing is, we're just fans. I felt like we'd underestimated them. The team, that is.
Yeah.
And I can excuse you sitting there saying, well, 3-0, I don't really know enough about them. That's fine. You almost don't need to. But with our team, well, there's no excuse for Moyes and the coaching staff not having everything done and working out the fact that their guy's going to come in at the back post and stuff like that. And I found myself frustrated. And come half time, I was still confident that we were going to go on and win the game. This is the benefit of going on with Charlie at half time, because I said we'll still win this because we are just better than them.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like we have gone on to win the game, because we have better players. It wasn't because we'd done anything tactically switched on or we outwitted them or anything like that. We were just better. And by the end of the match, they just ran out of energy. First half, though, what did you make of it overall? Because obviously I've taken that 10 minutes into consideration. The reaction from West Ham, I felt, was quite disappointing.
Yeah, I thought it was awful, actually. I thought Emerson was terrible. I thought we were clumsy as well. And even the bit where he did go forward and he made a really good break and then he didn't sort of release the pass well enough. He carried on for too long and got dispossessed, which annoyed me as well. Clearly, he annoyed you. I was quite annoyed by Soufal as well. I thought his delivery was atrocious, but his running was really good. It was disappointing to see Scamacca. It was a terrible shot. Actually, it wasn't even the worst shot of the game, was it? Because one of their players had a shot and it went for a throw-in. Actually, one of their players, I believe it went further back. It finished further back than where he'd shot it from. So actually, he shot towards a goal, but it ended up behind him, which was excellent. I haven't seen anybody do that since Enner Valencia, actually. But that was, Scamacca was a yard. Well, not a yard off the pace. It was sharpness. He lacked the precision, and it was for instance, he jumped for the header and he'd make contact with the ball when he was on the way down rather than the way up. The shot was scuffed. There was a couple of neat touches in and around the box, but I thought he was poor. And I thought there were a number of players that could have been hooked. Actually, I thought Cornet was playing well. I thought he was one of the few that was playing well. Of course, he had this little shining light playing in central midfield. And you talk about, I'm sure we'll talk about later on, but you mentioned Emerson not looking around him and knowing who was there. We had a guy in central midfield today who every time he didn't have the ball would do that and do that. So whenever he got the ball, he just knew, well, there's one of my teammates there, there's opposition there. But we will talk about that later on, I'm sure.
I think we're both going to pick the same man of match, Gonzo. I'm going to defend Scamacca. Finishing aside, now his finishing was atrocious. There's no defending that, okay? And his decision to shoot on a couple of occasions was extremely questionable as well. One occasion in particular, 25 yards out, quite wide, and it was a horrendous effort, but he shouldn't have been shooting from there. I actually thought his build-up play was quite good at times. I thought there was a couple of nice first-time layoffs, one to Ben Rama, the one to Lanzini. He said, there you go, away you go with it. But his finishing, he had a good chance with a header, then he got sort of played through, kind of, and dragged it well wide, and I don't know what it was. I felt like he was almost too eager to impress to some extent and just needed to calm down a little bit. But finishing was really, really poor from Scamacca. But I thought the all-round game was quite promising. But let's move on to the second half. I mean, half-time, though, we had a ruthless manager, 3 substitutions. Off went Lanzini, Benrahma and Scamacca. And on came Michael Antonio, Lucas Paqueta and Jared Bowen. I mean, the manager wasn't messing around at half-time.
Good to see, isn't it?
Yes.
Good to see.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm gonna, because I had the ump at half time. I really did. I was right. Anyway. It doesn't matter what I was. It doesn't matter anyway. But I did actually. I thought Emerson got away with it. Actually, but that one I thought we could have done 4, Moisey.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think Emerson was doing well going forward, and at 1-0 down, we need to go and score. I think he was.
I do, but I thought he was a liability. And listen, I'm saying that he did go on to score, so I am aware that I look silly. It's easy for me not to say that, but
Yeah, but he also went on to get booked in,
which is what I put in the chat, Geo, because I thought he was gonna. I thought he was getting card. Even after he got booked, he still slid in again. I thought he's getting a red card. I thought
it was O'Connor. It was
it could have been. I thought, how have we bought another left back that can get targeted and get sent off in Europe? They're hard to come by. We got 2 of them. Anyway, but yes, obviously half in jest there, but I thought it was good to see those proactive moves, and also it wasn't going to be long. And we'll get to the penalty bit in a bit, but obviously you've got to say that because I thought the substitution was great, and I want to chuck 4 nails in with that as well because I think all of them made an impact.
Well, did you agree with the 3 subs at halftime? Because I'll be honest with you, I would have liked to have seen Scamacca remain on the pitch with Antonio, but also with Paqueta. I thought we're bringing on a real technical player that likes 1-2s and whatever, and we've just taken off the striker that can do that and put on the striker that would prefer the ball played down the channels or whatever. And I thought, it's a bit mismatched here. I think we've got the wrong striker on the pitch with the wrong player here.
Well, yeah, I ran off to do a couple of things at half time actually, and I missed the announcement. That's I was sort of squinting at the telly, hoping to see Scamacca on there for all the missed side. I just felt it was a little bit of lack of time and a lack of sharpness, but you can get that through the game. And I was also mindful, as I say, it's rained so heavily today, and I just know that from being here today. But if that rain eases off, I would expect Scamacca's game to sort of improve a little bit as well. So yeah, I think I was a little bit disappointed, but that being said, I would have been wrong anyway because what he did was right. But I felt if it had brought Scamacca, it would have been a change of formation as well as a change of personnel. But they gave us the urgency. I've really felt that they gave us the urgency and a drive to really want to attack and the quality. Let's be fair about that. Real good quality. And it gave us a supply line, Geo, that we didn't have before because as I felt in the first half, we very much, because Scamacca was on, we were relying on supply from wide, and that final ball, Emerson wasn't quite doing it. The final ball, Soufal wasn't quite managing it because his technique was a bit of a letdown on that, and Lanzini was sort of playing a sort of neat and tidy game, but it wasn't enough to break through the lines.
Antonio does go wide, and we were getting a bit of success by playing it down our left channel, putting Antonio up against that centre back, got him in the book and went at him again.
Yeah,
Scamacca doesn't do that. Scamacca's very central. You can almost draw lines from 6-yarder to 6-yarder. And I imagine Scamacca doesn't move out of that area and that middle strip of the pitch very often. He's very, very essential, whereas Antonio likes to get out wide and pull the centre backs and create room for others. And he definitely caused a problem. I mean, the manager did get the substitutions right. Let's go to the 68th minute then. I mean, that's 20 minutes into the second half. I felt it was almost a bit of a continuous performance from us, which is have majority of the ball, get forward, don't really create too much, knock it about a bit. They time waste. I'm certain I've seen one of their players tying their laces with laceless boots. I'm pretty certain I saw that happen today.
Oh, well, lovely.
But for that 20 minutes, I was getting frustrated. I felt there was a goal coming. But I'll be honest with you, I was getting a little bit nervous, thinking, flipping hell, lads, we're running out of time here. And I'm looking at the bench thinking, we've already played the cards. We've already put on Bowen and Antonio and Paqueta. And I'm getting a bit nervous. But 68 minutes still Gonzo. We got our pen. Did you think it was a pen?
No, I think it's for 50-50. I think you had one person protected. Clearly, he got a whack, Cornet. But it was so tough to see who got the ball first. And maybe Cornet just did, but I also thought, I always try and look at it if it was against us, and I actually thought Cornet maybe jumped into the keeper a little bit as well. So clearly the keeper was pretending to be injured. Fancy that. Some goalkeepers do that. But yeah, I was pleased. Do you know what? We deserve it because we had decisions go against us very recently. But it was 50-50. It could have been a foul. It could have gone the other way. I know referees that would have blown up for a foul against a goalkeeper.
I didn't think it was a pen, in all honesty. I was surprised it was given. When he blew up, I thought he was giving a free kick to them. And I thought, oh, come on, ref. It's just they're both going at it, play on kind of thing. And then when I saw the pen, I thought, oh yeah, that's it, ref. You blew up, son. Get that whistle in your mouth. But I have to say, right, be honest with you. Be honest. Jared Bowen's got the ball in his hands. I mean, it's quite a long wait because the keeper's rolling about on the deck, and Cornet's obviously got substituted with concussion. You know, I mean, got a kick in the face from Skamak and then a punch in the head from the goalkeeper. So it's been a tough night for Cornet. Yeah. Were you confident Bowen was going to dispatch it?
No, he had a funny look in his face when he was.
He had the Vice Nottingham Forest.
He did. Didn't he? That's what happened. Yeah, he did. He did have to have. Oh no, but it shows how much. I think you just as a fan you worry. Yeah, you're right. When Rice took the penalty against Nottingham Forest, I was thinking, oh, he don't look right. He looks nervous for this. And then I was sort of saying, there's no one there. It was only me saying it to myself. But I said, he looks nervous for this. And I just thought, I wonder how many times I say that. I wouldn't be surprised if my son had been there, he might have turned around to me and say, Dad, every time we get a penalty, you always say, oh, he don't look right this. I probably do always say it.
That's what he had it in his hands. I thought, whoa, I don't know about Jared taking. He's not in form at the minute. And she said, well, who do you want to take it? And I was like, well, I don't know, but not him.
Yeah. He looks nervous. He's going to miss.
I was like, I don't want Rice taking it. I don't want Antonio taking it. I'm quickly running out of players taking it. I thought, I'll have Areola taking it in a minute. But what a penalty. I mean, brilliant. 10 out of 10, that. Hard, powerful, straight in the top corner. The keeper could dive right to where that ball went and still not save it. Unbelievable penalty.
Yeah, it really was. And it's a great way to relieve the pressure. I mean, I think on himself, funny enough, as well as us poor fans who think everyone that's going to take a West Ham penalty is going to miss it. I was pleased. I was pleased for him. What a confidence it gave him then from thereafter. He looked like the boss of the game up until the point that Antonio was the boss of the game. And I've also thought Fornell's point at times looked mightily impressive, actually.
Yeah, Julian Dick's penalty. And there was to be a little bit of a sort of a blessing in disguise, really. You never want to see a player go off injured, especially one of your own. But that substitution ended up really working in West Ham's favour with Pablo Fornals coming on whilst the penalty was just about to be taken. 7 minutes later, Geo Gonzo did make it 2-1. We took the lead through Emerson. It was one of them. I had to watch it a couple of times. Miss you actually went in back the net, but Emerson made it 2-1.
Yeah, I know. It was. I think at the point I said, "Oh no, not him," and then he scored.
You really don't like him, do you?
No, it's not. I don't like him.
I know. I'm winding you up.
True. That's not true.
We're in good mood. You can tell with one.
We can. I thought he had a horrendous game. But by this point, I'm quite. As I say, I thought Bowen's going to miss. I think Emerson. Oh, not him. But I'll tell you what. How well did I thought that was really well left by Antonio. I thought he showed good awareness then and really left that. And fair play to him. Despite the fact that he wasn't having a great game, Emerson, and he was already in the book, I think, by that point. He carries on going, and he clearly wants to. Well, he'll do both. He'll either overlap or he'll cut in and go on the inside. He's clearly making runs inside the box, and that won't be the last goal he scores for West Ham. Because he keeps making those runs and getting in there. So I thought by that point, Antonio had made such a difference. Bowen had made such a difference, and we're purring at that point. And really good, really delighted with that, actually.
Yeah, I think. Listen, I think the keeper should save this. That's why I had to almost double take it went in. Your brain automatically does it. When a player takes a shot before it's even hit the goal, your brain automatically says to you subconsciously, going wide, going over, save, in, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
right.
I do.
So as soon as Emerson hit it, my brain just went, "You'll save that," and then I was like, "Hang on a minute, he's not saved that." But listen, he got into good positions all evening. I thought Emerson, whenever we were going forward, he was right there. He was in the first half, especially. He was pushing up, pushing Cornet 5-10 yards infield, getting that 18-yarder. This is my space, and it's something that Creswell's not as forceful as he used to be, I think. Creswell used to be a bit like that, but he's not so much now. And I quite liked it because when we go forward, Emerson almost turns into a winger and it allows whoever's in front of him to almost go become a second striker almost. And, the ball come down the right-hand side, there he is. He's in the 18-yarder saying, well, this ball comes through, everyone. I am here. And that's what you want from somebody that's playing an advanced left-back role, especially when you're going after the win. You're the team that needs to get the goal. And like you said, it won't be the last one he scores this season either. I think he'll cost us a few goals, but I do think he'll contribute a few goals as well. And I thought his crossing was relatively okay. It wasn't the worst crossing I've seen all night. I think it might be him that crossed it for the Skamaka header that he should have done a hell of a lot better with as well. And then 50 minutes later, Gonzo, well, in the 90th minute, I mean, Mikel Antonio had come on and was just beast mode from the start, hadn't he? He was just wrestling defenders and, well, he wrestled one more and then dispatched into the back of the net.
Yeah, he did. And I'll tell you what was great about that move, the intent from when Fornals came on, just to pass the ball forward. So I felt the dynamic had changed, because I think I've not maybe mentioned it yet, but Akera was always trying to pass forwards all the time in that game. And I think when you've got that going on, and then you've got someone on the other side in Bowen who wants just to travel forward. So Bowen wants to eat up the ground and just travel forward. And then you've got someone like Fornals who just minimum touches, just wants to move the ball forward. You can give all the instruction you want. You can have all the intent, but you know, actions speak louder than words. And the intent to attack was really there from Fornals, a minimal touch. So he just sort of backheeled it, dragged it like a little flick to Antonio. It's so much to like about that goal, and it was relatively simple. First thing you saw was a strength. Bang! He plants his right foot down, gets his shoulder in there. Basically, that's it. You're done. You know, he's saying to the defender, "You're not going to outmuscle me." His foot was planted. His weight's on his right foot, and then it's the turn, which is skillful. Then you've got the acceleration. So that's the third part of the move. And then he goes into there, sprints forwards and finishes the goal. It was a really, really good goal to demonstrate skill, strength, acceleration, and technique. They're very good. Very, very good.
Yeah, I think it was a terrific goal. Well deserved. I think all the subs changed the game, actually. I think Bowen was good when he came on. I think Antonio was good. Minus Paqueta, I think he was average. I think when Fornals come onto the pitch, I think he really changed the game. What, you look surprised at that? Do you think you disagree?
Well, no, not at all.
Oh, I thought you were disagreeing about Paqueta. I was really defend. I say he didn't look good or bad. I thought he was just average. You know,
No.
Some nice touches and passes, but he gave the ball away a few times as well.
No. That's why I picked out when I said about the substitutes, and I picked out Bowen, Fornals, and Antonio. Yeah, no.
Had a no-look pass and gave it away. Time and a place, mate. But when the game's in balance, this ain't it. But saying that, I don't really mind it. But yeah, Paqueta was. I wasn't overly impressed by him tonight. I'm sure he will come good, but just tonight wasn't his night. But anyway, it finished 3-1. What's your thoughts of the overall game? Then we'll discuss. Well, actually, we'll just go into individual performers because we've discussed the game quite a lot, and then we'll do the final words at the end. So take your pick, grab a couple, but not your man match.
Ooh, okay. Okay, Kara again. You know, really like what I see. Particularly intent, particularly the passing. I've got to say, I know I'll keep saying it. I might be banging this drum, and we may never see it because Moyes might not see it this way. Would like to see what he can do at right back, particularly. Word about Dawson coming back as well. I thought that was obviously good news for us there. I thought. Antonio. The thing is, the substitutes really changed the game. Okay, but I've also got to say that that when Paqueta came on, there was a really nice balance there in midfield because we had Downs doing what we're going to talk about in a minute, which allowed Rice to do his role. And I felt that Rice, the more the game went on, thought, oh, hello, this is good. I like this. And then second best pass of the game. Best pass of the game was a long range pass from Kera. Second best pass of the game was a really beautiful, incisive pass from Paqueta. And I just thought everybody sort of knew their roles at that point. While Paqueta didn't play particularly well and didn't influence the game, I did feel, like I used to speak about Leicester with Ndidi, Tillemans, and Maddison. I felt we had that. I thought we had a midfield three who were doing those three component parts. And then I think you started to see Declan Rice starting to purr there, and he just getting better and better and better as the game went on, I thought, which was really, really good to see. There you go. There's a couple of players for you.
Yeah, to be fair to Paqueta, it was his pass that led to the penalty. It was him that dinked it over and put the keeper and Cornet in a collision, if you like. As regards to Maxwell Cornet, I thought he looked all right, you know. When I went on at half time, people were saying stop him off and stuff, but I thought he looked quite enthusiastic. I thought his movement was quite good. I mean, I've defended him being offside, but when he was offside in the first half, I mean, there's just no defending that. He was like 2 yards in front of their defence, doing the whole, you know, when they lean forward at a pause, they say, look, I'm onside, just pass to me. He was doing that offside, and then I think it was Ben Rama gave it to him, and he was offside, and Soufal went mental. You could see Soufal, like, jump and slam his arms down and say, what are you doing? You get onside. But I actually thought he had quite a good game. Not polished. I mean, the whole performance from West Ham tonight wasn't polished or anything like that. But Cornet in particular, lots of enthusiasm, worked hard. And I would have liked to have seen him play the whole game. Unfortunately, he got a whack in the head, because I think the way that we were playing that last 10, 15 minutes, because they were tiring, I think it suits players like Cornet, who is quite direct, who has got a little bit of pace about him. And I was quite impressed by him. And I thought, oh, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing a bit more of him in the Premier League. And then, like you said, it's hard not to talk about the substitutions, because they all did make the big difference when they came onto the pitch. Yeah. I thought Declan Rice looked class tonight. I think in the first half, his pass to Cornet, funnily enough, when they were camped in their box and he just slid a little 3-yard pass in, they were going out for a corner, but just excellent from Declan. But I thought he had a really, really good game. And the 1.5 negatives for me tonight in terms of individual performers. The one is Lanzini. Poor, really poor. I was glad to see him subbed off at half time. And again, before the game, you're thinking, come on, Manu, this is the type of game you should be getting the ball, moving it about and stuff like that. And he just got embarrassed by somebody else, who we'll get onto in a minute. And the half is Ogbonna. It still looks rusty. First half at one point went shoulder to shoulder with that Italian, won it comfortably. I thought, there you go, there's Ogbonna.
Yeah.
But the second half is so late for that foul that he got a yellow card for. I mean, I don't know, rusty. I'm not comfortable with Ogbonna featuring in the Premier League yet. If there's anyone that's going to benefit from these group stage games, it is Ogbonna, because he's going to need them to get up to full fitness. I'm glad Dawson's back, and hopefully Dawson's fitness can speed up a bit so that Ogbonna doesn't have to be our third choice centre back, because I don't feel comfortable with that at the minute. I mean, this is, you know, again, we're going to get accused of football snobbery. I can only go on what I've seen. They look like a bottom half Premier League team at best, and I thought Ogbonna struggled at times tonight, and we can't be having that in the Premier League. Better strikers would have punished Ogbonna. Could you imagine playing Leicester? Jamie Vardy would just stand next to him for the whole game and say, well, I'm not going up against that Kerr guy. Have you seen that tackle he did in the first half, by the way, when he just slid on the big Italian one?
Yeah.
Wow, I love a crunchy tackle like that. But it was just, that was a mwah. Anyway, final words. Your man of match, but I know who it is. But before we do that, can we just ask you all to drop a like on the video? There's 1,450 of you watching live, which is just insane. Thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe to the Hammers Chat channel if you haven't. It's free. It takes you about a half a second to do it. Click the red button and click the thumbs up while you're there. But Gonzo, final words and your man of match. But I know we've got the same player tonight,
because we avoid to talk about them.
we hint, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
There was a really good central midfielder tonight, but I'll talk about him at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
was a hit.
But I can't say who it is.
That wasn't very subtle, was it? Yeah. Well, we'll talk about him in a second. Final words. Moyes needed that. I'll tell you now, Moyes needed that. He did not need. We were 1-0 down. He did not need to be going. We don't know what's going to happen with the fixture scheduling, obviously, but he did not need to be going in to a Newcastle game, losing at home in Europe. I think there would have been an awful lot of pressure on him. So fair play to him, because he got proactive. I'm imagining he read the right act to the team. There was a lot of people on the naughty step at half time. He made the decisions, and he sent them out with an intent to attack. And I'm sorry, I feel like I should have mentioned a few more other players, but I just want to reiterate how I was so pleased to see Bowen playing like that and to get the confidence. That gives me confidence in Bowen and seeing him in the next game, because he fancied it and he was up for it. So that's really good. And I thought Fornells and Antonio as well. Very good. Mad in a match, and I'm really delighted to say this for him, is Flynn Downs. because I thought he was so efficient in his play. I thought it wasn't just about that. I thought he brought enough battle. He brought enough bite. He allowed other people to play, but his positional awareness, from what I mentioned earlier on, I actually started to watch it. There was one point where he shouldn't really have received the ball, okay? But he did, and he still took care of it, and he just laid it off. He laid it off to Kehrer. So I started watching him. I thought he must have already known he was there. Now, I know he's not got eyes in the back of his head. So I then just started watching him for about 5 minutes. Even when he wasn't going to even when he probably wasn't going to receive the ball, he'd just move. He'd take two steps, move into space. He'd do that. He'd look around him. He knew where everybody was all the time, both in front of him and behind him. Step into space, receive the ball, lay it off. And then I started to think, is he just going to sort of play it safer sideways passes? No, he'll pass the ball forward as well. Then he started travelling with the ball. You actually saw somebody getting better and getting more confident as the game went on. And I guarantee this. Declan's the captain. He's too classy to say it. But I guarantee that he'd have thought, I like playing with this guy. I can do this. He could just tell. And the way that they were happy to lend each other the ball, safe in the fact that they were going to get back. And there was even one point where there was just a little, not only there was a sort of second ball, if you like, Geo, right? And it was a bouncing ball. So it was allowed to bounce. He didn't head it on the first time, but it bounced up in the air. And there were two players contesting it. Not only did he win the header, he actually did a little flick, just a sideways flick, again to Kehrer, who he knew he was there, but it sort of just looped it over the other one. Even the header was a sort of cushioned pass. I thought it was a consummate midfield display. Very, very impressive.
I don't think we were bad tonight. I don't think we were at the top of our game either. I think we were somewhere in the middle. And I think at times it was enough and at times it wasn't enough. We got a scare going 1-0 down, but we had to show a bit of character about ourselves to come back into that game. And not once did our heads drop. We kept on believing. We kept on going for the win. And I think, in the second half, when it was 1-1, there was only ever going to be one winner in that game. That was us. They were tiring. They had all their huff and puff for the first half. Well, first half hour of the game. Funny enough, until they went 1-0 up, I think they started to struggle a little bit. They were pressing us. They were time wasting. Their defenders were putting in heroic performances. Anytime we had a shot, they were in the way of it. They were taking a bullet for their team. I'm very impressed by their defensive structure tonight. But it was a big test for us tonight. And we, in the past, especially in the last 6 months or so, ignoring the summer park, so going back to January or whatever, we've struggled against teams that sit in against us, and we've struggled to break them down. Tonight, we broke them down. Now, there is a massive slice of luck with that penalty, and I'm not just saying this because we got the penalty. I thoroughly enjoy not having VAR tonight, so I could celebrate all 3 goals, or should I say the 2 open play ones. Emerson's one in particular, I could celebrate that without having to worry that something had happened in the build-up. I enjoyed not having VAR tonight. Some really good performances tonight, 1 or 2 iffy ones, but it was important that we got the win. We get the group stage off to a winning start. We've done that, and it was a tougher test than I expected. It will be a tougher test than Moyes would have wanted. He wouldn't have wanted to put them 3 players on at half time. He would have planned out a couple of ideal subs in his head, Dawson being one of them, but because he had to play those 3 aces, if you like, at half time. But then that was the substitutions of an angry manager. That was a man that almost lost composure to some extent at half time. Says, "Well, I'm not having this. Your finishing's crap. Off. You in possession, you're crap. You've been crap for a while. Off. Ben Rama, mate. Physically, you're getting bullied out there. You're not really offering much either. Off. You 3 on. Change the game." Went out and changed the game. And that 3 that came onto the pitch, and then they added in Fornals, the 4 of them. They probably just secured starts for the game at the weekend, should it go ahead. And I don't think the 3 that came off can really have too much to complain about, in all honesty. But, I feel like I'm almost being too positive to some extent. When I looked at the live chat at half time and stuff, I thought, hold on a minute, I thought we played all right. Looking at the live chat now briefly, some people saying we were a bit crap, and I don't think we were. I thought we were quite good. I thought we were fine. I'm not doing cartwheels about the performance. I'm doing cartwheels about a couple of players' performances. But, I'm positive. I feel good after that. And it was a banana skin of a fixture, and we've navigated it well. Years gone by, we would have got embarrassed tonight, but we didn't. We've comfortably dispatched them by the full-time whistle. We move on to Denmark next week with their tails up, a little bit of confidence, a bit of swagger, and we've now got players in form that weren't before tonight kicked off. And man of the match has to be Flynn Downs. It simply has to be. And now Moyes has got a problem. David Moyes has got a massive problem now. You cannot drop him after that performance. You cannot drop Flynn Downs after that performance now. I don't care about who the opposition was, because he was unbelievable. Well, I say don't care about the opposition. I will take that into context, which is, it doesn't mean he's ready for the Premier League. It doesn't mean we'll see that in the Premier League. But what it means is he deserves a chance in the Premier League. I thought them two, as a partnership, brilliant. Understood each other's game, trust each other. They were getting 5-yard passes, ping, ping, ping. Like you said, Kerr gave it to him one point. He shouldn't have given it to him. He had one touch, and he just gave it back to Kerr. So there you go. One point he had, again, it looked like he miscontrolled it. One of their players on him, and he did like a Parker swivel and got out of it, and you could hear the crowd applauding him. Now, the one thing I will say about Downs, which is his downfall, that tonight was Swansea Flynn Downs. That is exactly what he's been doing for Swansea for the last 12 months in the Championship, dominating centre midfield, breaking up play, keeping the ball ticking over, and he will get labelled Mr. Sideways. That is what he is. There was a couple of times tonight where he was in possession, somebody made a really good one. Jared Bowen did it, and someone did it in the first half. I can't remember who, it might be Soufal. And I can't even say he didn't spot them. I think he might have spotted them, but he thought, I'm not doing that because that's not really my game. That will get frustrating at times, but this is where Declan Rice needs to step up and be the one that pushes on a little bit and gets a bit creative. But Flynn Downs tonight, especially with his first start, he had to play it safe tonight. He had to make sure he did no mistake. Lanzini is what happens when your ball's up a little bit, you don't play well enough. Flynn Downs, fantastic. Anyway, sorry for rambling on. Anything you'd like to add before we disappear?
No, mate, I think we covered it all. But pleasing result, mate. Pleasing result.
So there you go. If you enjoyed this review, please drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat. And myself and Gonzo, we may see you tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see what's happening with the Newcastle fixtures. I think at the point, it feels like it's going to be postponed. But we'll have Gonzo have his review over on the Hammers Chat Forum channel tomorrow morning anyway. And there'll be a video up on this channel regardless of what's happening with the Newcastle game. But please do pop along and check them out. Myself and Gonzo. Well, if you're on Patreon, we'll see you tomorrow morning with our player ratings. It's going to be positive, except when Gonzo's got to talk about Emerson. Catch you in a bit.